It's easy to think that all your purchasing decisions are yours, that you did all the research yourself, compared every single detail, and came to the conclusion all on your own. But if that's the case for all of us, why is the influencer marketing industry valued at $24.1 billion today? Who is buying these products these influencers are marketing? If you don't think it's you, I have a question to ask. Have you ever been brainwashed? How would you know? Let's break this down into a few sections, starting with the rise of influencers. To understand the psychology behind how influencers brainwash millions of people into buying shit they don't need, we have to go way back to the beginning of humanity, to our hunter-gatherer ancestors. Humans are social creatures. We evolved to rely on each other's shared experiences to navigate threats, find resources, and learn essential skills. It's the entire reason we have a more sophisticated language and communication system than the rest of the animal kingdom. This primal instinct is what the influencer marketing industry preys on to make us buy the products they sell. Now, it wasn't always like this. Bloggers and reviewers would share their authentic opinions on products they've used personally or tested, and people would use this information to make an informed purchase decision about that product. People learned to trust these online reviewers and bloggers more than company advertisements and celebrity endorsements because they appeared more authentic and down to earth. But as social media became more popular, so did influencers. And once corporations got wind of how much these influencers could make them, the entire industry skyrocketed. In just a few years, it completely changed from people giving their genuine opinions about the products to a bunch of people with a platform shilling anything and everything to their gullible audience. Today, influencer marketing is one of the major forces of advertising. In 2015, this industry was valued at just $1.7 billion, but by 2025, it's expected to be valued at $24.1 billion. That's a staggering increase of over 1,300% in just 10 years. So we know that the influencer industry preys on our innate tribal instincts. But how exactly does it work? Especially because a lot of us try to actively fight against it, yet somehow you look around your house and find that most of what you own was recommended to you or at least introduced to you by someone you follow on the internet. We talk about how much we hate advertising, but it still works. Why? One of the most important tactics they use that people fail to realize is the play on our psychology. If there's one thing they've perfected, it's this. A study done by Digital Marketing Institute found that 69% of consumers trust influencers more than traditional celebrities, and the numbers have gone up from there. This is because of something I dub the 4 Mannix system. The first one is social proof. Early humans were highly tuned to social proof because we lived in very small and close-knit communities, and the safety of individuals within the group often depended on what the group as a whole did. If others avoided going to a certain area, you followed suit to be safe. If they gravitated toward a resource, like a river, that was your signal of safety and value. This instinct, unfortunately, still remains with us today, even though our livelihood does not depend on the group's well-being. It's why we are unconsciously drawn towards a popular or widely recommended product. It's safer to follow the decisions of others. It's this mechanism that makes crypto pump-and-dump schemes so effective. Everyone talks up the product before it launches, which creates enough social proof for people to join, only for the creators to dump the coin right after it launches, leaving everyone who purchased it with worthless tokens. In all honesty, it's not all scams. In 2015, Kylie Jenner launched her cosmetics line to her 220 million followers and generated $420 million in revenue in the first 18 months because of her social proof as a beauty influencer. In 2019, Sephora partnered with 100 beauty influencers to create credibility and saw an increase in sales by 10%. A study made by Bright Local says that 88% of consumers trust online reviews more than personal recommendations. That's crazy to even think about, but the reality is, I don't think I'm any different. Sure, I might not listen to Kylie Jenner, but when MKBHD said the human AI pin was the worst product he had reviewed, I canceled my pre-order. Yeah, I know, it was a very dumb decision. It was very late, I saw a TikTok, I got excited, I made a poor judgment call. Don't judge me. But this is what I mean. No matter how strong you believe you are mentally, there are people whose opinions you trust, and unfortunately, those same people can be used by companies to brainwash you into making certain purchasing decisions. For example, MKBHD, the company I listen to, has been accused of spreading propaganda for Apple about the repairability of their products. Have you ever tried to actually repair your iPhone? I promise you're only going to make it worse. Plus, have you seen Mark Zuckerberg in interviews with tech influencers recently? It's like he's trying to clean up his image, especially among young people. And it's working, maybe? Now, it doesn't stop there. Companies want to make as much money from you as possible, so they will use every tactic in the book to get you to buy their products, which is why when preying on your primal instincts doesn't work, they prey on your emotions. This tactic is called FOMO, the fear of missing out. Missing out on what, though? Why do people feel like they're missing out? All the influencer needs is to make a post that has a limited time slot or slots bonus deal. How many times have you heard a YouTuber say, the first 200 people will get a 20% discount? This is them using FOMO to get you to make a rushed decision. When in reality, most of the time, there isn't any limit. Everyone gets the discount, but if you think it's limited, you are more likely to act without thinking it through. It's the same tactics companies use when they sell limited stocks of a particular product. In reality, they can always make more, but the fear of missing out makes people buy the products whether useful or not. FOMO has reportedly driven 43% of impulse purchases out of 60% of consumers who experience FOMO when they see a limited time offer. In 2018, Nike partnered with Colin Kaepernick in a limited edition Just Do It campaign. This campaign brought a 10% increase in sales for Nike, $6 billion brand value increase in the following weeks, and the Kaepernick merchandise sold out. These first two tactics work when we're already in a mental state ready to make a purchase. But what I wanted to understand was where that need to buy things comes from in the first place. That brings us to the next tactic, the aspirational content tactic. It's 11:34 p.m. And instead of going to bed, you're scrolling through your Instagram feed. Video after video, you're confronted by different extravagant displays of wealth. That incredibly designed loft house, the gaming room, the workspace, the home gym, the travel EDC. The more of this kind of content you consume, the greater the need to get these products featured in these videos. Maybe if I get that expensive gaming chair, I'll feel a little better about myself. Or maybe it'll at least help my lower back pain. Spoiler warning, they don't. If only I could get that new titanium Apple Watch as my daily driver. They sell you their lifestyle as a dream and then link the products they talk about as the answer to those dreams. You want to be like them, live like them, without understanding that a lot of the time these people didn't even buy the products they showcase. They're given to them by the brands. Sometimes it's not even big things like a new car, watch, or smartphone. It can be little things, even things as small as a bottle of water. Literally. Fiji once partnered with around 50 Instagram influencers to simply post a video of them on vacation while drinking the water. Now, you see this video from someone you admire having a good time and drinking Fiji. Subconsciously, your mind starts to associate Fiji with having a good time. The next time you're out with your friends, you order a bottle of Fiji. You don't even realize that you've been manipulated into buying the water. Your life was fine until you saw that post. You didn't need Fiji water before, but suddenly, now you do. A recent survey conducted by WalletHub shows that 74% of consumers buy what they don't need after seeing a social media post, and 63% of them end up regretting that decision. Let that sink in. 74% of consumers bought a product they didn't need after seeing a post, and over half of those consumers regretted that decision. That's insane. By the way, Fiji went on to see a 15% increase in sales after the campaign. In 2014, Adidas partnered with Pharrell Williams for the shoe collection, the Superstar Super Color Edition, and he wore it almost everywhere. Until that is Adidas's most profitable year yet, with a record 12% increase in sales and regained market share for Nike in the US. Well, maybe you're not one of these people who fall prey to these tactics. Maybe you're the one that researches whatever you're buying. This fourth tactic may be still getting you. This tactic is the most overlooked one, but the most effective of them all. It's called the parasocial relationship tactic. A parasocial relationship is a one-sided connection where a person feels emotionally attached to or invested in a public figure, such as a celebrity, influencer, or fictional character, even though the relationship isn't mutual. In these relationships, the viewer feels as though they know the person, despite never having interacted with them directly. These influencers use this parasocial relationship to sell you a product, because they know that you're more likely to buy the product because of the story behind it, not minding whether it's actually good or bad. And I can tell you that most people have a parasocial relationship with at least one influencer. In 2004, Dove launched their Real Beauty campaign that was meant to tackle low self-esteem and partnered with influencers that had earlier shared similar stories to their audience. You can already guess what happened next. Dove recorded a 10% increase in sales according to Forbes and firmly planted themselves in the beauty industry. These influencers are aware of the type of marketing power they have over the consumers, and that's why they manipulate our minds into thinking that these products are real and necessary. Influencer marketing has become a multi-billion-dollar industry, with brands investing heavily in sponsored content. How can we then really know when an influencer is giving a personal recommendation rather than just promoting a product? Honestly, the sad truth is it's almost impossible to be sure. At least 70% of influencer marketing goes unreported. This means that most of the recommendations you see are just plain ads. According to the FTC, all advertisements are supposed to be disclosed, but that is very difficult to regulate, especially with the sheer volume of influencers that are all around the internet. Also, who determines what an ad is? If the company gives the product for review but doesn't take it back, which means the influencer can sell it and make money, is that a payment? If the brand flies out the influencer, pays for a hotel for 5 days, and their going rate to attend an event, is that a payment? If the brand has paid for ads that were disclosed in the past, but sends a product in the future, is that still an ad? As you can see, there are so many gray areas that it's nearly impossible to effectively legislate. According to a 2020 study done by Influencer Marketing Hub, nearly 25% of influencers surveyed admitted to not disclosing paid partnerships despite regulations requiring them to do so. It's that bad. Why do this to their most loyal fan base? Money. It's always money. You have to understand that influencing is most of their day jobs. And just like you and I are trying to make the most money possible, which you can help me with by liking this video and subscribing to the channel, so are they. It's just unfortunate that we have to be the victims of their pursuit of wealth. If people can't trust you to give an honest review about a product, how can they trust the product or even you as a person? The emotional and psychological impact this deception has had on consumers is not something to look past. Being exposed constantly to influencer content is known to decrease determination in young people if channeled wrongly. Social media for many is where influencers seem to have it all. The luxurious lifestyles, the perfect life, perfect family, etc. They have the preconceived notion that everything is working out for them. The bombardment of that ideology creates what psychologists call aspirational pressure, the feeling where people think that before they can be happy, they have to keep up with this lifestyle they see online. They start to feel like they are not doing enough. It's a constraining idea. You want to get somewhere, but you can't even get there because you're no longer trying. It's like the famous saying goes, comparison is the thief of joy. Research shows that 47% of youths feel pressured to buy things after seeing them promoted online. It's not merely wanting those products, it's wanting to achieve a certain lifestyle, to make a statement, to feel good enough. Especially for young people, this is devastating. This video is not meant to discredit the work of influencers, because it's certainly not all doom and gloom. Some of the best products I've gotten were because of great recommendations. The simple fact is, you won't always know. In fact, you should never really assume that any product you see on an influencer channel is genuinely something they bought with their own money or have their own genuine opinions about. However, now that you understand the various methods that these influencers use to prey on our psychology, you are better equipped to combat those impulses. For example, if you see a limited time offer, stop. It's probably not limited. I can't tell you how many discount codes I've used well after the quote-unquote expiration date that still work just fine. Additionally, think about your relationship with an influencer. Do you really know them? What's their favorite color? How many siblings do they have? Do they have the same political views as you? If you find yourself struggling to answer one or even all of these questions, realize that you might not know them as well as you think they do. And I promise, they certainly don't know you. It's nothing against you, it's nothing personal, but it does mean that you need to be aware that when they mention a product, they're trying to make money off of you. Listen to different people, different influencers, or go to blogs or sources, or even Reddit, God forbid, to find other opinions about those same products. There is no such thing as a perfect product. If you find yourself running into nothing but positive reviews about any kind of product, that's a red flag in and of itself. Also, try to understand their biases and what they stand to gain before taking their advice. Because remember that if an influencer is talking about a product, they most likely got paid to do so, unless they expressly state otherwise. Stay safe out there. The internet can be a scary place.